Terry McCain has a way of surprising people.
Shake up your life. Do something crazy with it. Play music for a living.
You saying what I do now is not crazy enough?
That's what makes him dangerous.
These statements were obtained through the use of excessive force.
It's the third time he beat me, Dylan. The third time.
Yeah, well, he beat me too, but you don't see me getting crazy about it.
Word has it DeMarco lost $3 million on your last bust.
That means he thinks one of us took it.
Last chance, detective. Where's my money?
There was no money.
Now these punks, man, they think twice about killing a cop because they know it brings down serious misery.
What do you want?
I want to see the tough guy. I want to see the guy who smashes knees, shoots people in the face.
He's going to be coming after you next, or Frankie.
You're out of control, Terry.
Thomas Ian Griffith. Excessive force.
Die with a little dignity.
Finally, the punishment fits the crime.
Okay, so how are you, sir? It's been a little bit since we've been together.
Good. Getting over a cold, so sorry for my voice.
That's okay. I'm about to
Not quite
open
100%.
this can of pop ASMR right into the fucking mic. Here we go. How's everybody like that? This podcast is not sponsored by Schweppes. But Matt offered me a Schweppes ginger ale, and I shall indulge. Okay, so let's go ahead and kick it off with a little segment we like to call Nerd News.
All right.
Baby. So who wants to go first?
Well, I've got one that you may be interested in this week.
Oh, yeah?
Because Gorillaz is getting a feature film at Netflix.
Hell yeah, dude. I saw that. I was pretty hyped about it.
Yeah. You know, they're like your favorite band. They're
It's
one of
funny
your favorites.
because I originally did have that written down, but I was like, I don't know why I thought that maybe you might bring that up, because sometimes we'll bring up stuff that the other person likes. Because we're just like that. We're buddies. We're the buddy boys.
That's what buddies do.
We're the original buddy boys. Yeah, I'm pretty hyped about that, honestly, because anything to do with Gorillaz, like, I've never disliked anything they've done, and they're always doing something different. They've always got that sound that I like, but, like, they always do something different, and they work with, like, different artists and stuff, so... And I think they've been talking about this for years, like, way before they've had any albums, doing, like, a Gorillaz movie, so...
I didn't even know they're still around.
Yeah, they just came out with, like... During COVID, they did, like... Song Machine, which was like they worked with a bunch of different artists, so they worked with like Elton John and a bunch of different people. And before that, they had Plastic Beach and like But yeah, there for a while, they actually like the main dude was like, kind of like saying like I think I'm not really going to do anything more Gorillaz until I feel like I want to make music again. And then out of nowhere, I guess he got inspired, and it was just like every couple of years they were making albums. It felt like, which is awesome.
That's cool.
So. I was pretty happy, and I am happy to see it happening. So, Speaking of nerd news, I don't know if this is going to make anybody happy, but they're developing a remake of Under Siege for HBO Max.
Dude.
Based on the 1992 Steven Seagal action thriller Under Siege, where one man totally destroys everyone and there's no chance because he's the cook. And they forgot about him.
Is Steven Seagal going to be in it?
Honestly, that would probably make it funny as hell, because at this point, he's like all of his films now are complete China shell movies, and they're like so lazy. It's like Bruce Willis movies now. I think what they're probably going to do though is like do a complete redo, but I don't know. It doesn't really say. It just says.
Well, I'm sure
they're making. Yeah, I mean, it would be funny if he was at least in it for a cameo, but I think at this point he'd probably be like, nah.
No one cares about Steven Seagal except me, and like I really want to pick
China, in Russia.
I want to pick a Seagal movie,
him.
but I would like don't want to hear you crap like or say a single negative thing about my beloved Steven Seagal.
Well,
I actually watched.
If you're scared that might happen,
do Dude, I watched Fire Down Below, which is the one where he goes like country. He goes to like save a Kentucky town.
Oh, okay.
The evil toxic waste, people like poisoning the water with toxic waste.
Yeah.
And like literally no one touches him that entire movie. No one lands a single blow.
Yeah.
It's just him laying waste to, like dude after henchman after henchman.
Yeah.
And it's glorious.
Well, I mean, nominate one of them.
And he did the soundtrack for it.
Nice.
Because he's a jack of all trades.
Jack of all shits.
How dare you! So good.
I can't promise I won't shit on it, but that doesn't mean that I'm right. It just depends on what it is that we're watching. If you nominate one of his movies nowadays, I would be shocked if you could defend any of it. But his older stuff isn't bad.
Yeah. Yeah, after like...
That's the whole reason why he became like, kind of famous and stuff, is because of his older movies.
Yeah, his movies from the late 80s and 90s, I think, are legitimately awesome. And like around the year 2000, like took a turn for the worst.
I think it's because like nobody had done movies where like essentially there was no arc. It was just straight up the fucking guy just
he's a martial arts
beats the
master
shit out of people, and it's like,
and no one has a chance against him.
Nobody had ever seen a film where it was just a straight destruction. Not saying one way or the other, but I'll still say Under Siege is fucking awesome.
Oh, totally. I agree.
I haven't really seen many more.
Under Siege
films.
2, Dark Territory.
That's the one on the train, right?
Yeah.
Where they like almost put that thing in that lady's eye.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ryback!
I don't necessarily hate...
The bad guy gets his fingers chopped off when he slams the door shut.
Yeah. I don't necessarily hate him. I think a lot of his movies now are just plain up shit. But that doesn't mean that his older stuff I would necessarily rip apart.
Okay.
So... Are you ready for the next segment?
Yes.
Scary.
Is it... Recommendation! Nation!
Recommendation. Okay, what do you recommend?
My recommendation, Nation, this week is one of the latest Nick Cage movies I finally saw.
Oh, that's actually kind of shocking. I thought we were going to have the same recommendation.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Prisoners of the Ghostland from 2021.
Okay.
Which is where basically it's kind of like Escape from New York, where he has to go into a lawless land to rescue someone's daughter.
Right.
But it's totally awesome and weird and hilarious. And this is not like Pig Nicolas Cage. This is as over the top as it gets.
Yeah.
Like at one point, he they put him in a suit that has these little mini bombs on it, so they they can blow off his arm or blow off. And they put 2 on his testicles. And at one point, they blow one of them off, and he does a crazy dance,
They blow his ball off. What the fuck?
That's the kind of movie it is.
Wow.
So, but it's crazy, has crazy action, and Nicolas Cage going totally over the top.
Yeah, just being himself.
Yeah, it's great.
He's gonna be in that Renfield movie as Dracula. Did you hear that? I was like...
So Nicolas Cage is my favorite actor. He can do anything, but I'm I can't picture him playing Dracula for some reason. I wonder what his take will be on Dracula.
I don't know, dude. He's like Jeff Goldblum. He just does whatever the fuck he wants, and people either like it or they don't like it.
Bam Margera?
Yeah, he bangs fucking heroin up his arm. Yeah, I like Nick Cage. I don't seek out his movies, but I like him. I don't. When I see him in films, I'm not this is bullcrap. I like how he does his own thing and he does what he wants, just like Jeff Goldblum. Except for I think Jeff Goldblum's probably a rapist, but
what?
He just kind of comes off as somebody that is kind of like a molester.
Good lord, I don't endorse that opinion.
It's not an opinion, it's just fact. No, I'm not. I'm not having any slander against someone here for libel reasons. But he just always kind of comes off as kind of creepy to me. But
okay.
Ever since I saw him on Jurassic Park, when he was creeping on Laura Dern. I actually had 2 because I thought that you were going to nominate the Beatles thing.
Okay.
I'm actually kind of shocked that you didn't, since you're such a Beatles super fan.
Well, I haven't seen the whole thing yet.
Yeah.
So
the end might be total shit.
Might really ruin it. But yeah, I mean, that's highly recommended. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Have you watched it?
I've watched like an hour of the first one, and already I can tell it's worth watching if you're even if you're not really that interested in Beatles stuff. It's interesting because it's like behind the scenes of one of the biggest like things in music history and in history in general. It's like
watching history in the making.
Right.
It's amazing.
And it's like the way they like took care of the footage is just like amazing. It's like it looks really good and stuff. So Disney definitely, was smart to have Peter Jackson come to their platform,
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I watched the first episode, which was like each episode's like 3 hours long.
Yeah, it's like
I wish it was longer,
like
man.
Ken Burns,
yeah,
because it's out of 60 hours of footage, which I'm assuming some of that is just nothing.
But it's awesome and like also hilarious because like it literally seems like Spinal Tap at some points. Where like the part where George is getting shocked by the. Have you seen that yet? He keeps getting shocked. There's a short in the microphone. He's like,
well, he keeps doing it, and like the thing is like. At first, they can't figure out, like, they think he's, like, making it up, because, like, one of the other dudes tries it, not, like, one of the Beatles, but, like, one of their, like, managers or, like, the technicians, and they're like, nothing's happening, and then it happens again, and he's, like, he does the exact same thing George does, and then the guy gets shocked, and they have to rewire it, I'm assuming, because it was, like, there's also, like, this big thing about, like, they weren't happy because they didn't have, like, an 8 setup thing, and then like George brings in his and
the 8-track machine.
Yeah, Paul was smoking a cigar. They had a part where like John says everybody had a heart on, which I was cracking up about. There's just small things like that where you watch and you see like the songs coming together, but they're not there yet, and it's cool because they have different lyrics for things and they like switch stuff around, and it's really cool.
Yeah, like you get to see Paul like make up Get Back like on the spot.
Yeah. And
like George and Ringo are sitting there like bored, they're like yawning and stuff, and then they're like, wait a minute, that's bloody good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, I think I'm starting to get to the part where like George is about to walk out because he's starting to get fucking pissed off and stuff. So
yeah, it's funny because he's like really pretty like negative the whole time. He's like argumentative and like not helpful a lot of times. I'm like, dude, George, come on, man.
Yeah, I can kind of see some of the ways where he was coming from, though. Cause some
totally.
Of this, it's like...
It was just a bad situation.
A lot of the stuff they were also coming up with, he was like, a lot of this is the same shit over and over again. And they're like... John's like, I like that. And it's just like... I think they were kind of like looking for something new or whatever. But I need to watch the rest of it, so... It's an undertaking because it's freaking so long. Mm-hmm. It's like, yeah, like you said, each hour is like 3 hours. Jesus! Each episode is 3 hours. Mm-hmm. But yeah. My other thing was Shang-Chi on there. You need to watch that movie if you haven't. It's like a legit fucking kung fu movie.
Isn't that a Marvel movie?
Yeah, it's really good. It's like straight up like... I don't know. It's like it's essentially like a new Jackie Chan film. I was just like, holy shit, dude, this movie is good. The action in it is like really good because it's like essentially just a martial arts guy, like a dude that like knows, pretty much how to kick ass, and it's like the fight they have, all the fights they have are like all legit. So,
wow, that's surprising.
Yeah, but I think it's because it's like it's very detached from like the world, like the Marvel world. Like it's obviously set in it, and like they reference it and stuff, like things that happen in the world, but like. Essentially, you can watch the film and not even like know that it's part of it because it's very like, I don't know. I don't want to say like, straight up kung fu, but that's what it said on the thing. It says weaponry based kung fu, even though I'm like, I don't really know if he uses a couple weapons in it, but the first fight takes place with him like just straight up kicking ass on a bus. It's like Speed meets like Jackie Chan going down to San Francisco. It's like legit. But they have a bunch of fights in it and stuff, and I think you would like it at least for the action.
Okay.
So there's a couple other things in there you will really like comedy-wise, like for you, that I think one of your favorite characters returns from the Marvel Universe. Okay. Your only favorite character that you liked?
Batista?
No, like from Iron Man 3. Fucking one dude, Ben Kingsley, shows up again.
Oh, nice.
It's really funny. Like, but yeah. So yeah, both really good. I can't wait to watch more of the Beatles get back.
Yep. I'm hoping that gets like the special edition treatment and like there's even more footage.
That is one thing that's nice about Disney Plus is things that go to that like do have a chance of also doing physical because they want to get the money and they're also like, why not? Whereas like if it comes to like Netflix or YouTube, it's like I was bitching about that the other day where like the thing that sucks about Cobra Kai being on like Netflix and like or being on YouTube and then going to Netflix is that like they're never going to do like a special or they're never going to do a physical edition that has anything but like behind the scenes maybe like there's not going to be commentaries or anything like that. It sucks. They've just never done that. Even when they like Stranger Things is really big, they released that and it was like I don't think there was any special features on it. It was like okay, I'll just keep my fucking digital subscription.
It's a shame.
Yeah. But anyway, are you ready for the new segment we just came up with? So this is our new segment. This is I guess this is under construction. Weird watches for now.
Weird watches.
Weird watches. So I gave you the honors of picking the first. So the way this works is I came up with this idea to like what we'll do is like each week we're gonna suggest a show, or I said maybe like a record or something. Listen to the first song and whatever, but like something neither one of us had ever like watched before, and then watch the first episode and then like talk about it, and say what we thought about it and stuff. And you picked Manimal, and so this is I'd never heard of this before.
No one has.
It took me I had to honestly watch this like on a YouTube thing that was like the picture was fucking horrible, so I could only see partial bits of it.
Really?
Yeah, because the other thing I found of it was either buy the whole complete thing for $20 for Shout Factory, or there was one that was in like
Spanish. That's the one I watched.
Yeah, it was in like, but it's like
I watched it in Spanish.
But like. Was the audio in Spanish?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I didn't watch it.
You can still follow what's happening.
Yeah.
Because it's like...
I was like, I'm not watching this if it's in a different language, because like to me it was like this was originally supposed to be in English and like there's no subtitles. It was like it's funny because I found like when because we're going to talk about Excessive Force later on. There's a version of Excessive Force. The whole thing's on there and the picture's really good. But, like, there's audio, like, subtitles. So it'll be, like, excessive force, and then in another language it'll say what it is in, like, French. I don't know if you saw that one or on YouTube. So, and everybody in the comments is like, fuck you, why'd you do this? And I was just like, Jesus. It's, like, the best quality one on YouTube, but I just, bought it, so. But anyway, Manimal, how'd you, like, find out about this shit?
I've never heard of it, except for there's an episode of Get a Life with Chris Elliott, where he's like, last time I was this upset was the day they canceled Manimal. I was like,
it's so random.
Manimal. It's like the stupidest sounding show.
Yeah.
So like, I've always kind of wanted to check it out ever since then.
Yeah. I mean, this is like something that I don't know if it's specifically like original, because I know that like there's a DC character that can like turn into fucking animals and shit. But I don't know if this predated that. Well, he has like parts of animals in him, so he can do things. Maybe that's what the other guy was like in DC. But yeah, this guy legit morphs into animals.
So what did you think of Manimal pilot episode?
That was pretty boring, honestly.
It's boring and super stupid.
Yeah.
But it had its moments where I was cracking up.
There was it's an interesting concept. I mean, like, the transformations were like pretty impressive, honestly, for the time, I thought.
Well, they weren't. Yeah.
But the problem was like all he did was transform.
All you did was see his hand. Like,
yeah. You see his face transform into that bird that one time. But there's like 45 minutes into the actual pilot of like an hour pilot, they finally talk about like how he got his powers.
Yeah,
they don't even talk about it. They just show him use them to like rescue his friend, who is now his like butler or coral.
That didn't bother me too much. Like I just accepted that he could just turn into whatever animal he wanted at any time.
I mean, there was nothing going on in this, honestly. Like that was the only thing in the actual show that I was like, okay, like why even talk about this? Because it wasn't even like an origin story. It was like, this is how these two guys met, and it was so random. I was like,
but also like
watching my phone half the time.
So he uses his powers to like fight crime, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Or like, you know, help people
to like find out what's going on, and then like.
But a lot of the times, like, it's totally unnecessary that he is a panther for this moment where he like distracts. You know, he causes a distraction to like attract the police, you know, to a criminal doings. And I was
These people have guns, but they like can't shoot them.
He keeps turning into like a puma or
he
something
keeps
over and over again.
I'm like,
why?
Yeah. He transforms into a jaguar like 5 to 50 times in this pilot. I was like,
they should have just called it Jaguar.
Yeah, so.
But it was hilarious when you think he transformed into a snake to like, intimidate the guy. And everyone thinks that it's him, but like he comes in and he's like, "Hi guys," and then the woman's like, faints. Like there's so much fainting in this show, it's so stupid.
Yeah, I would not recommend anybody to watch this personally.
I think it could be fun to watch like as a group if you want to like laugh at it.
If you were like high or something. Yeah.
But it did have Terry Kaiser as the bad guy, which Bernie from Weekend at Bernie's, which I'm always happy to see him pop up.
Yeah, it's okay.
And at the last shot, he transforms into a shark and eats that.
Yeah, I had that as like almost a question mark because I didn't really. I was like, because they don't show his transformation, right?
No,
they just show a fin,
and at that point, I was like half paying attention.
And me too. They use like a Jaws ripoff theme too, and it's in a pool, and he like is apparently gonna kill a guy, and I was like
bite a guy to death.
What? So he's like cannibalistic.
And like freeze frames at the end of the
I
was like, yeah.
Yeah. I was like, cool. This guy's like a fucking
like a butcher.
He's a cannibal. He's eating another human.
They should have called it cannibal instead of animal.
Cannibal.
Cannibal.
Cannibal. Cannibal manimal.
Manimal.
Yeah, I mean like it had like I feel like if maybe this was remade today, this could possibly be like way better because like the transformations take so long.
It's too stupid.
Well, you picked this shit.
What?
Are you trying to defend it or no?
No, not at all. I thought it was like you pretty boring and like I just thought it was awful all around. But it had some like so bad it's good moments.
I mean, I feel like it could work as a show. Personally, but would I continue to watch this version of the show? Hell no.
No.
Like I was looking on my phone most of the time, like match checking stuff on it. I'm sure right now, but I was doing that throughout the whole
someone else
fucking
popped
show.
Up, in the cast. Oh yeah, Brandy Santoni, who's Poppy from Seinfeld. he was like the captain or whatever.
Who gives a fuck? This show sucked, Matt. You're right. Sucked. I'm glad I watched it.
Yeah.
Because it was fun to talk about, but good God.
I'm just looking at the rest of the cast. I guess Robert Englund popped up in an episode.
Oh, I thought you meant in the one we watched. I was like, damn, I thought I would remember that.
I think there were only like 8 episodes because it was canceled.
Yeah, that's right what it said on the box for like if you were to buy it.
Like, how did this even get made? Like,
I think there were a lot of shows like that have been over the years made that like, how the hell did this get made kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't think it's like a completely like. I mean, it is a stupid idea,
Ursula Andress,
but I don't think like. I don't know, man. Like,
it was stupid.
It was just so badly done that it wasn't. There was no redeeming it. Like, the dialogue was so boring too. It was just like this guy was like essentially like a fucking Bruce Wayne character that like had all this money and like was like an English explorer, and his dad did all this shit for him, and then like he somehow can turn into a manimal. He can turn into animals, and then like.
What'd you think of the main dude, Simon MacCorkindale?
Oh, he was fine. He was. I mean, it was like he played the character as I guess he would have. I mean, I don't know what else you could... Honestly, I guess if you had replaced him with, like, somebody that was, like, more charismatic as far as, like, entertaining, the show could have probably done better because, like, he essentially just played, like, this white English aristocrat who had, like, a black coral slave, essentially, guy. Like... I mean, like, fucking, they were in the jungle, and they were, like, about to be eaten by these fucking Muntulu dudes or some shit, and he's like, we will be fucking eaten alive, and he's like, I will now be your fucking, you know, manservant for the rest of my life, because you fucking saved me, and I'm like, dude, it's like 1980s, you don't have to do that shit. It just, you know, you can be friends. But it's like, they lived together, and it was just boring, because the guy was like... He was essentially just... He had no personality. He was like a James Bond that, like, turned into animals. It was like, okay. Like, if this was, like, Jack Black now, or, like, The Rock, or, like, you know, Batista, or, like, Jackie Chan, or anybody that had any sort of comedic,
Rob
or,
Schneider.
like... Dude, fuck Rob Schneider. He sent me a clip of what was that with where he fell down
I've talked about it before,
stairs,
and
where
when they
he
were making
fell down the
Judge Dredd.
stairs and broke his neck. Essentially, it looked like
It's pretty extreme.
Yeah, I was like, people were like, some guy was like, that's like the only laugh Rob Schneider ever got out of me. I was like, that wasn't funny.
No,
it was like horrifying because he
disturbing.
like falls and it's like
he falls down an entire flight of stairs and lands on his head.
Yeah, and like.
Stallone's like, are you okay?
Yeah, he's like, even though he's like, let me move this guy that just landed on his neck. Yeah. I was like, But, I don't know. I feel like it could have been, like I said, with somebody else, like you said, because of the main guy, it wasn't interesting. Like, he's just boring.
Yep.
So
did we succeed or fail in Weird Watches?
I mean, we didn't succeed or fail. They succeeded or failed. I feel like this. I mean, this was a fail, like the Manimal, but I mean, it got canceled, so no shit. I wouldn't continue to watch this, and I think you said the same thing.
No,
but I'll have something at the end of the thing here to talk about for next week's Weird Watches.
All right.
So we're gonna go ahead and go on to the weekly topic of Excessive Force, starring Thomas Ian Griffith, who also wrote. Co-produced this film. It was released by New Line Cinema back when they were kind of a big deal in 1993. Wait, 93? When was... Okay, 10 years apart from Manimal. Coincidence? No. Despite being panned by critics and becoming a box office bomb, the film had a direct-to-video sequel called Excessive Force 2,
really?
Force to Force, that bears no relation to this film. It does not follow its storyline or have any, but I don't think like it's like a woman that's
wow.
In it.
I looked up because I was like, first of all, I'd never heard of this movie until I saw the trailer.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned last time.
You like sent me the thing
like,
for
dude,
it. And
have you ever heard of this?
And I was like, nope, but I'm about to nominate this shit.
And I looked it up because I was like, did this even get released in theaters? And it did.
It had a very small like.
It came out in 500 theaters.
Yeah.
Which back then, like, the big movies were getting, like, 2,000.
Yeah.
So, it came in 17th place in the box office.
Yeah.
And was instantly removed from theaters. It made $308K. And some of the other movies that were ahead of it were Dragon, the Bruce Lee Story, Dave, Indecent Proposal, Sidekicks, starring Chuck Norris, The Sandlot, Cop and a Half, starring Burt Reynolds, Son of a Woman, Unforgiven, A Few Good Men, and Groundhog Day. So, some good movies in the theaters back in the day.
A couple.
Cop and a Half? Have you ever seen Cop and a Half?
No, I'm good.
Me neither.
So, yeah, I actually read that they were kind of banking on, like, Thomas Ian Griffith, like, at New Line to be their next, like, Steven Seagal or, like, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess, like, they completely fucked up, like, because they were only, like you said, they only released this in, like, 500 theaters. And it's like, well, if you only release it in that many theaters and then also, like, don't really promote it, it's, like, the same thing that happened to, like, Escape from New York and a bunch of other films like that. It's like, if the promotion isn't, like, good, it doesn't matter, like, what kind of fucking film you put in theaters.
Yeah.
You know? especially back then. I mean, there wasn't really like accessibility as now as far as like it was essentially word of mouth. Like,
so that's one thing I wanted to ask you, because like we're big Thomas Ian Griffith fans, right? I really only knew him from Karate Kid 3, where he like Terry Silver is like one of the greatest characters ever created in my mind, and vampires. Yeah. So like, and I'm assuming that you liked him in this movie, right?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, he's good in this. So why
another character named Terry?
Why do you think he wasn't like he didn't become like a huge star?
I don't understand, honestly, because like this movie had everything. Like to me, I give this movie a 9.95.
Wow, what?
Yeah.
Dude, no way.
Yes.
Wow.
Because this movie, I can't think of a single thing this movie like didn't have for like an action film for me for it to be interesting. It had like twists and turns, and it had like it had good actors in it. It had fucking, like obviously Thomas Ian Griffith. It had Tony Todd. It had freaking Darth Vader, for fuck's sake. And it had Lance Hendrickson. Mm-hmm. A bunch of people that honestly, when you think about it now, like as big as they are, like kind of play a lot of B stuff, like except for like Darth Vader. But he was like, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like they deserve better. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I feel like he definitely did his own, and I mean, especially for writing this, I felt like it was good.
Yeah, I was surprised to see that he wrote it. That's awesome.
Like there was a lot of like, I don't know, like I honestly think that it had to come down to possibly marketing and the way that it was pushed, because like I wasn't watching it and being like, this looks cheap or this looks like shit. Like money was put into this film, and you can tell, and it also like, I don't know, maybe the main actress wasn't super great, but like, I don't know.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, and like the only thing I could come up with is like, he's kind of scary. Like like there's something like in his eyes that like freaks me out. And maybe I'm just thinking about Terry Silver as like the scariest character ever. But like, I don't know, he's got an edge to him.
Yeah, because he uses... Well, it's funny because they say he uses excessive force, but I mean, like, compared to the people that are trying to kill him, it's warranted force. Like, I guess the only time he really uses excessive force is when he coerces that one dude to get a confession, which is completely bullshit that he did that, but... Yeah. He's not out, like,
it was the 90s.
Killing people and shit. Exactly. But, like, yeah, I don't know. I can't really put a finger on why, because to me, he's not somebody that I ever see in a movie and think that he's a bad part of it. I think that he's, like, Bruce Campbell or somebody that, like, they're the shining part of a movie that might not be great. Whereas this movie, I mean, it had plenty of people that were in it that were great, so... Mm-hmm. I mean, it was also, it could be a wrong time to release the film. I don't know. There were a lot of good movies on there, like A Few Good Men and stuff, but I don't know. I assume it's probably down to how they marketed it. If they only put it out in 500 theaters, I mean, a lot of people probably didn't even know it fucking came out.
I didn't.
So, yeah, it's like...
Like, I was all about action movies even back then.
I mean, that's the thing, too, is like... This is a pretty damn good action film, so I don't understand why, I'd put this on toe with a lot of the other ones on that list, so I don't know why, like I said, it's probably marketing. Unless you think that there's another reason.
No. I don't know the answer.
Yeah. I mean, it's also, it's one of those things, it's like, why do certain people get big and other people don't get big, like as far as like in Hollywood? Mm-hmm. It sucks because, New Line pushed them and stuff, but I think they might have gotten cold feet and not gone all the way with it, because if they put all the money into the movie and stuff, and then when it came to marketing, they might have been like, let's cut our losses, but I don't know why, because the movie was good, so...
Yeah.
I do know... you want to talk about the plot?
Yeah.
Okay. So a group of Chicago cops are involved in a raid from which $3 million disappears. The local mob go after them, and the body count starts to rise. The new chief of police makes it clear to the last remaining officer that he... What? I haven't read this before. That he will look the other way if he takes the law into his own hands.
Where do you get these write-ups from?
Yeah, they're on IMDb. They're always IMDb. When the policeman finds Okay, so this is essentially Terry McCain, like, is told, like, if you go after these fuckers, I'll look the other way, but he gets set up, essentially. So, I'll talk about the DVD menu here. 18 squares, plays a funky Lethal Weapon-like song, and it shows all the characters. Gives an option of full screen versus widescreen, which is nice. It's on the same side, unlike when you have to flip them over back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And then they got the new line cinema logo, same studio as Austin Powers, so thumbs up. This is a film by Jon Hess, which that doesn't ring a bell, but I'm sure it's like maybe you know about him.
I'm not
familiar.
Yeah.
We got Thomas Ian Griffith doing push-ups on his knuckles. He's doing some karate, whatever he's doing, martial arts training to get ready to go bust some dudes.
Yeah, that's the opening credits, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome opening credits.
Yeah.
It's like totally 90s and just like a good training montage, kind of.
Yeah. We got DeMarco, played by Polly from
Burt Young.
Rocky. Happy birthday, DeMarco. Happy birthday, DeMarco. Yeah, so Burt Young also. Yes, I didn't mention him. I fucked up. But he's also in this film.
Yeah, I was hoping for a little bit more from him because, like, he's kind of lackluster as a villain.
It's kind of something where it kind of, like, shocked me because, like, in the trailers and everything I saw, this guy is supposed to be, like, the main bad guy. Mm-hmm. But it turns out that he's not actually the main bad guy. Like, he is, but then things kind of take a turn, and Thomas Ian Griffith gets set up for his murder, but he was the last person that was there, but he, like, didn't kill the guy. Mm-hmm. And so you find out, like, well, who the hell did it then? And then he's going on, like, kind of a, you know, who set me up thing, and, like, is it my friends? Who is it and stuff? So, and you find out who it is at the end of the film. Well, a little bit before the end of the film, but, like, it's pretty, it's actually, I was kind of shocked because there was a couple things that, like, there were a couple, like, things that, because, like, before he gets killed, his best friend gets killed, and, like, Tony Todd gets killed. Or does he? You see him get burned up and you see his corpse, but then, like, later on in the film you see him, like, his body, like, well, you see his body, but he's in it and he's alive. But, like, he's actually, like, he found the money, like the $3 million, and brought it to Lance Henriksen, and Lance Henriksen was like, okay, we can, like, split this shit, but we'll fake your death, and then we'll kill Thomas Ian Griffith, and he's, like, the last person to know, and we got to kill off DeMarco, too, because he was tied to DeMarco back in the day and taking dirty deals and shit. So,
like, I can't believe Lance Henriksen turned out to be the bad guy.
Well, he was he was kind of like an asshole throughout the whole film.
Yeah. So
I just thought he was a strict, like, guy, but then at the end you find out, oh, this guy's actually, like, got the money. What the fuck? Like,
one thing you didn't mention is Thomas Ian Griffith's power mullet.
Well, that's kind of a given back in the day.
So good.
If you got the hair, flaunt it.
It was strong.
You should have a mullet. You should grow out the back.
I've tried.
Yeah. Frankie, Tony Todd. Hell yeah, he's in this film. My brother.
I thought... Don't do it.
Don't watch this movie.
I thought Tony Todd, like, stole the movie. I thought he was amazing in this.
I thought he was amazing, too. I don't think he stole it, but I think he's just really good in everything he's in.
Yeah, like, I just couldn't believe how... Like, at one point, there's, like, tears coming out of his eyes. And I've seen him... He does that in a couple of movies. I'm like, dude, he's just, like, such a great actor.
Yeah. I mean, you can say the same thing about everybody in this film as far as, like, they deserve better than what they usually are in. Like, Lance Henriksen's in a lot of shit. Like, sci-fi crap. But he's awesome. I mean, freaking... Thomas Ian Griffith has, like, a handful of roles to his name, but he deserves better. And Tony Todd, like, it's like he's always in stuff, and, like, people know of him, and, like, I think he has more hits than, you know, obviously, like, Thomas Ian Griffith and, like, a bunch of other people in this movie, like, if you were to type in his name. But, like, he's still, like, he should be up there with, like, Tom Cruise and shit. Like, all these people should be. Like, they're fucking legit actors. I mean, not that, like, one actor is better than the other, but just saying, like, they deserve more roles because it's more of an enjoyment to see them do their thing.
Yeah.
For me, it's like, they give a shit, which is nice.
That's why I like Night of the Living Dead remake so much, because like that's one of the few times Tony Todd was like a leading man.
They also like do something different in that film, which is nice to a degree, where it's like they do it different enough to where you can watch it, and it's not like all the billions of other remakes that we've watched, where it's like, what's his name was in it, like the Night of the Living Dead 3D. It was just like, God, this fucking sucks, dude. I think this is like the second or third time I've talked about how much I hate that on the podcast. It was also the 3D was horrible. So we've got Thomas Ian Griffith doing his like patented legwork that you see him doing like in the other couple films I've seen him in, like Karate Kid 3, where he like does his like kicks and then his like spinning back kicks and stuff. And
so many kicks in this movie.
Yeah, it's like Jesus, man. That is ridiculous.
He also does an axe kick.
Yeah.
Where, like, he, like, chops a guy.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've seen that in a movie.
It's freaking ridiculous.
Yeah.
I was like, this guy is awesome.
His martial arts are really strong.
Yeah.
I will say, like, he's not as fast as, like, a Jackie Chan.
Right.
But, like, he's got the power behind it, I think.
He's, like, the quintessential guy in the 90s that, like, had like the long hair, like the ponytail, possibly wore like the trench coat, and he knew like martial arts. He was like Highlander style, like badass. Like we've also got the of course the rolling around with double pistols during a fight. Yeah. Something that I don't really know how helpful that would be in real life, but it's an action movie, so it's fucking awesome. Stenographer can't hear what he was like when he was beating the hell out of the guy, and then like he's like, you weren't supposed to hear that, and I'm like, okay. And he used excessive force to obtain a confession, as we said before, and it gets thrown.
Don't worry,
out.
It's just a movie. I'm sure that doesn't happen in real life.
No, well, yeah. Well, in real life, they don't have like a stenographer in there. Yeah. So, I guess I did have a note about DeMarco being played by Burt Young, better known as Paulie in the Rocky films, just later on. But Terry shows up with to this jazz bar, and he's so cool. He's the only white guy that they let play in this black, all black club. It seems.
I thought James Earl Jones, like, he's a sax man.
Yeah.
And I thought it looked like he was really playing the sax.
That's what I thought, too. I thought
either he can play in real life or, like, he's awesome at acting.
Yeah, it's like him and Terry both play, like, Thomas Ian Griffith. It seems like they're both playing the instruments, like the piano and the sax. And I was like, Jesus, dude.
Yeah.
And they're at a club called Deja Vu. So... James Earl Jones doing some jig of some sort while he was playing the piano, and he was like, fuck you. And I was like, what? James Earl Jones was essentially telling him to like play piano for a living and stop being a cop, because like he was really good. He's like, you're really good at piano. Why don't you make a living doing that instead of like, you know, why don't you do something crazy with your life and stop being a cop? He's like, you think what I do now isn't crazy? And they're like, huh. And I'm like, it was a joke. So, this is where Dylan gets murdered. He was having sex with his girlfriend, and they were going to give Terry his birthday present, which was a kitten. And DeMarco's guys bust in and do home invasion.
They did home invasion.
They did. And then they kill Dylan's girlfriend and take him to be tortured. And then they break his fucking legs.
Yeah, that was pretty hardcore.
Apparently, I read that like in a lot of like countries, that part was like censored, so they just show like the bat going down and that's it. And yeah, even like, in the copy we watched, they don't. It's still pretty fucked up because the legs are like.
I frame by framed it just because I was like, oh whoa,
yeah.
And you see, there's one frame where the legs are like,
yeah.
I'm like,
yeah, and then they just plug in. So they're at the crime scene, and Lance Henderson warns Terry and Frankie to stay together at all times, due to DeMarco thinking they have his $3 million. And this son of a bitch knew all the time. And so did Tony Todd, I guess. And they find Dylan's body right away at the trash dump, and like Terry goes nuts. He's like, no!
And wouldn't you? As his friend.
Wouldn't you, Matt?
Yeah.
You would?
Yeah.
So if I got killed and threw in the dumpster, you'd flip out?
Yeah.
Thank you. I'd flip out.
We'll see if it happens.
If I got thrown at the Jesus! Don't get pissed at us. Don't throw a buddy boy in the buddy trash, please. Terry goes into the private club and beats up every single person looking for DeMarco. That was like a destruction where he goes into like the stone like private club and like then he drives over to like the I guess like the bar and he like his son comes out and he like whips his son's ass. That
reminded me of a scene that's in like every Steven Seagal movie where he just lays waste to a bar or restaurant or something.
He just was like, these guys didn't even have guns apparently. I was like, what? You work for DeMarco, like a mob guy, and you don't have guns?
Was that the scene where he like does a flying kick off the bar and like kicks a guy through the window? So that was like my favorite part of the whole movie. It was so good.
It might have been, yeah. I'm trying to remember.
I'm like, now that's excessive force.
Then they're at the wake for the one dude, and two dudes are playing the bagpipes, and I'm like, hasn't this family gone through enough? Jesus Christ, to hear this shit. It's like essentially two dudes just playing fucking torture.
You're like, keep it down over there.
I'm like, kill me next. So Frankie, Tony, Todd stops by his place to get changed, and Terry like goes to the liquor store that's like right next to his place, and he goes up to get Frankie, and his place blows up. So that was an explosion that everybody probably knew was going to happen if they watched any action films.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm going to go get my stuff. I'll be right back. Told us not to split up, but we're going to go up here. I'm going to go up here by myself anyway.
Right. But, I mean, that's another cool thing about this movie is, like, it's real. Real explosions, real squibs. Like, the action is all real.
It's real squibs, not fake ones. Totally. Devlin tells Terry, you do what you have to do. Devlin is Lance Hendrickson, since I don't think we've said his name in the movie yet. DeMarco is eating with his underlings, and one of them is playing airplane with a crab, and like DeMarco thought it was like pretty great. I was like, what? Remember that where he's like, and the one guy, and like he's like, and I was like, are these adults? Like, what the fuck? That was like the one thing in the whole movie that I was just kind of like,
mama.
Yeah. I was like, is this a real movie? That's why the movie didn't do well. They were like, sorry, the rest of this movie was perfect, but that scene, fuck you. So Terry goes in and he's like planning on killing DeMarco. And this is what we were talking about earlier, where he's like starts begging for his life, and he's like, he essentially turns into like Paulie from fucking Rocky. He's like 100% puss.
Right.
And he's like, you're pathetic. And he just like leaves and he doesn't kill him. Which I thought he was going to like turn around and actually be like, gotcha, and like shoot him in the back. But he leaves. Not like I thought that like Terry was going to shoot him. I thought DeMarco was going to shoot him, like Terry in the back. But like the next day he's walking with his girlfriend and they see on the front page DeMarco was like found dead. And the last person to see him was like Terry. So it's like, here's the frame job. This is when I put there's a twist in this movie. And I was right. So he goes into his house. There's like a poster on the wall for Mingus.
Charlie Mingus.
So I didn't know what the fuck
Great
that was
jazz
about.
man.
Yeah, there you have it.
Like Mingus as a real dingus.
What was the other poster? Did you? I couldn't understand.
I
couldn't like make out what it said, but
I didn't notice Charlie Mingus.
Anna slaps the hell out of Terry, which I thought was pretty funny. They go out of town, and Terry calls Lance Hendrickson to schedule a meeting in person, and he's like, not on the phone. I'm like, couldn't they tap the phone anyway? Like, wouldn't they know? I was like, anyway. I was like, well, this movie's a 2.95 now.
Losing points.
Losing points, guys. So essentially he goes to the place where like Lance Hendrickson says they should go to, and there's like an ambush and some awesome action happens.
Yeah.
And essentially he kills a bunch of dudes, and he asks the guy like, who sent you? And the guy says, fuck you, and he says, real original. And I was like,
some good dialogue in this movie.
Lance Hendrickson smoking a cigar.
Yeah, yeah.
He's in with DeMarco, he essentially like got some people to kill him since he was like going to be police chief, and like I said back in the day, they were like, either like Chicago cops and criminals, or like go back as far as, you know. So essentially, it's like everybody grows up knowing that the cops are on the take and stuff, and but now they were trying to like flush out the fucking, you know, bad stuff.
Clean them up.
Yeah. But the reason why he's doing that is because he became police chief, and he wants to get rid of all the people that can indict him possibly later or hold something over his head. Not that he's actually wants to come clean. So, and that's when you find out that like there's a part in the movie where you think that James Earl Jones double-crossed Terry because like there's only like 3 people that knew where the farmhouse was, and when this dude's like, I guess there was like, or knew that like where like where that was gonna be, and like, or like where that thing was, and he was like, it was like Dylan, which is dead, James Earl Jones, and Tony Todd, and he's dead. But you find out it was actually Tony Todd.
Oh.
But at the time, they make you think that like James Earl Jones double crossed him, and you're like, and that's when like he goes back and like they have this awesome like farmhouse.
Yeah, I love farmhouse assault
fight.
It was awesome.
I thought you would like that a lot because I know like you're a big farmhouse guy.
Yeah.
This movie's got city stuff. It's got like farmhouse stuff. It's got winter stuff. It's got like.
It's got it all.
It does, baby. So, yeah, I was like, dude, this is awesome.
That was a sweet scene.
Yeah. And Tony Todd, like, is tasked with, like, killing McCain, but he doesn't want to. And, like, he essentially doesn't kill him. It's, like, they're fighting and stuff, and, like, Lance Henriksen shows up and just kills fucking everybody, or tries to. He kills like Tony Todd, he kills like another random dude that's on the police force, and then he like runs away. He's become full supervillain here because everybody knows he's a bad guy at this point.
The other guy was W. Earl Brown, who had a big part in Deadwood, and we've actually seen him at a convention before. I always like to see him pop up. Like,
is he the guy that got plugged, or the guy that was alive?
Yeah.
Okay. Why do I keep saying plugged? It's in the fucking 1920s.
Yeah, he got plugged, see?
He got fucking plugged.
You ran away on the getaway sticks.
W.C. Fields here. He got plugged at the Celebrity Deli.
I always get plugged by Ollie.
Jesus!
He was like rolling on the ground.
Why don't you come up and lay some pipe on these big time? It's like, what? At the Celebrity Deli. I like how we're just going to make fun of that forever. Spencer Rice. So you find out, it's not James Earl Jones after all. And he actually gets shot by like Tony Todd, but he like ends up living, which is nice. I would have loved to seen a sequel to this film, but at this point it's like, well, what do you, I mean, I guess you would just have him do another thing. I mean, he doesn't have to be conspiracy, but he has the moves to be able to do cool action, so.
It's just him retiring from the force. Like.
Yeah. Starting a karate dojo. Lance Henriksen has the $3 million stolen dollars. So Lance Henriksen gets the old 80s, 90s villain death where he gets kicked off a roof to his death.
That was great.
Yeah.
Great moment.
Joker style, TMNT 3 style.
It's always, everything's kicking with Thomas.
Yeah.
In this movie.
Thomas,
stop that kicking.
When we meet him, we should be like, hey, Thomas.
Can you kick me? Kick me, Thomas.
Kick me in the ass and kill me.
Plug me.
Plug me with your cock. It's like, wait a minute. That's too far. Is he asleep? I'm not asleep anymore. Haha! I knew it. Like that part at the end, I was like, huh. Also, this movie does something that I don't know if this happens a lot of movies, but they have credits in alphabetical order and not in order of like stars. Usually they're like,
well, I didn't even notice that.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, blah, blah, but it's like Burt Young is like the last person in the credits. Well, alphabetical order. But it said credits as in alphabetical order, not appearing order, not like, Terry, Thomas Ian Griffith was like the star, so he's up here. It's like he's down below other people. It's like, it's kind of interesting. So, what do you give this movie, or what do you think about it?
I really liked it. The cast was excellent, like we've talked about. I think the action was like pretty good. I mean, obviously it's not the greatest action movie ever, but it's a solid action movie, great cast, and cool to see Thomas Ian Griffith.
Yeah.
as the lead.
What would you give it?
I think I'll go with 7.95.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Cool. So let's talk about some stuff about this film. Let's see here. So we got some trivia. Like I said, like New Line Cinema, we're hoping that lead actor Thomas Ian Griffith would become a studio stable star, similar to like Steven Seagal. Jon Hess was chosen as director after forming a close relationship with New Line Cinema when he was pitching his take on Leatherface to Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3.
Oh.
The film only ever received a regional major city release, like you said, before being sent to video. When first released on VHS in the UK, there was like an urgent distributor recall a few days after release, and they really realized they had accidentally released a cut of the film that had not been certified by the British Board of Film Classification. I guess that's the stuff that had like the extra crap in it. And in the first 5 minutes of this movie, Thomas Ian Griffith's character Terry McCain sings Danny Boy, which is a popular Irish song. Griffith played another character named Terry in The Karate Kid Part 3, where he calls Daniel LaRusso Danny Boy.
That's pushing it.
What do you mean it's pushing it? That's true!
That's like the finest trivia ever.
It is. The finest is in the best. So, let's talk about the DVD trailers here. I don't know if I've ever heard of some of these. Blink.
Blink?
Yeah.
No, I've never heard of it.
Yeah. Heaven's Prisoners.
Nope, never heard of it.
Lawnmower Man 2. I've heard of that.
Lawnmower Man 2, like Job's Revenge or something
yeah.
like that.
Those were the trailers on the DVD. I was like, And then at the end, there's a song playing called Burn With Me, which I couldn't find the lyrics to because it's like so fucking obscure.
Blink is starring Madeline Stowe as a blind violinist who recently undergoes a revolutionary surgery, joins with a police detective to track a serial killer.
Yeah. And
Okay.
she's not, because she sees the crime happen, but her like eyesight hasn't returned. So that's the kind of bullshit.
What was the other one? Heaven's Prisoners?
Heaven's Prisoners, yeah.
Okay, starring Alec Baldwin.
Yes.
Speaking of plugged, that didn't get released till '96. A hardened New Orleans cop, Dave Robichaux, finally tosses in the badge and settles into life on the bayou with his wife.
Yeah.
But a bizarre plane crash draws him back into the fray when his family is viciously threatened.
It
sounds pretty good.
It looked shit, dude. Like, the trailers were just like... It's funny, though, because it was still back when that one dude did them. Like, in a world.
In a world.
Yeah. So,
So on the... This is so lame. On the Fire Down Below DVD, like, they have a bunch of Steven Seagal trailers. Mm-hmm. And I watched them all, and literally every single one has that
world.
guy.
Yeah.
Like, without
fail. Are they all Steven Seagal films?
Yeah.
Jesus.
He did all of Steven Seagal's trailers, apparently, in the 90s.
Well, I mean...
One man, Casey Ryback.
One man.
They forgot about the cook.
One man can have bareback. You're like, God damn it! So, next week, we're doing the Buddy Boys pick. Now that we're going to do 2 a month. Except for, I think we're going to kind of like skirt things this month because we're doing the Christmas special. So this week, and then next week will be a Buddy pick, and then I think what we're going to do is on the 18th we'll have our Christmas special, and then depending on when you're free the week of Christmas, we can maybe do one that week for your pick, and then go back to the, All right. So, go ahead and pick a number, sir. Let me see here.
815.
Hold the fuck on. 1 through... Let me go ahead and just go through 1 through 18 because we're going to whittle down some of these that like we have more numbers than that, but the problem is if we keep extending it, it's going to like the people that originally got their numbers won't get them. So 1 through 18, sir.
We'll do lucky number 13.
13. Okay. So next week we're going to watch, as long as it's still on HBO Max, the new Dune film.
Okay.
Never watched the original. So.
It's not.
It's not?
But I did watch it.
God damn it. It's not on there anymore? They took it off?
Because I saw that it was expiring, so that's why I watched it.
Dude, this is bullshit. Are you checking right now?
Yeah,
Let's see if it's
gone.
Okay, give me a second.
But they do have Doom starring The Rock, so we'll do that instead.
I'd rather eat shit.
I know that movie's awful.
Fuck that. I'd rather just eat shit. I'm hungry.
Should we pick a different movie?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to put that on the list of movies that
on the back burner.
Yeah, because we have Suicide Squad that they took off as the next one, and then that one because fucking both of those got taken off HBO Max. Thanks HBO Max. Thanks for all the movies, but thanks for fucking taking them off for no reason, you fuckers. So yeah, go ahead and pick another one.
We'll do Lucky, number 7.
Okay, we're watching Marcus's pick, Unhinged. I don't know what that film is, honestly.
Oh, is that with Russell Crowe?
It might be.
Yeah.
I'm like, it might be. It either is or isn't. Let me just check and see what that's on real quick here.
It's on Amazon Prime.
That was like really quick.
Or
the
it's
way
on,
you said that. It's on Amazon Prime.
Spoiler alert. It's on Blu-ray on my shelf.
Holy shit. Well, which one is it?
Unhinged, starring Russell Crowe.
Well, which one? There's two.
From 2020.
Is it 2020 or the 2017 one? Fuck.
Well, ask the picker. But I assume it's...
Matt, did you tell me which one he picked?
I assume it's that one.
Okay. Yeah, regardless, they're both, it seems. Okay, at least we can stream these. I'll have to text him and find out. So next week, we're either doing Unhinged 2020 or 2017, which is this horror film.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So we will...
That poster, good lord, man.
He's like, murder me! Okay.
He's unhinged.
And then I will get back to everybody here because I just realized Matt doesn't have Netflix, so we can't watch this one that I originally picked for the weird watches.
Well, okay.
Well, I just saw something randomly on there called Hellbound that I thought looked kind of interesting, but like I said, if you don't have Netflix, then
more interesting than Manimal.
Probably not. Manimal was like the epitome of excellence. The excellence of execution. Yeah. I guess I'll look for something else.
That's cool.
So, I guess that's about it, unless you have anything else to say for yourself.
Final thoughts? Excessive force. That force was excessive. You were right about one thing.
Yeah, I don't understand why Thomas Ian Griffith didn't get huge. I mean, honestly, like we said before,
I was thinking, like, he kind of freaks me out a little bit. If we saw him at a convention, I'd be worried to look him directly in the eyes.
I mean, so does Tom Hanks, not Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks, the scariest man alive.
Tom Cruise, I mean.
Yeah,
but he's like a huge star, so he's like a legit crazy person. Tom Cruise. Thomas Ian Griffith just...
This is the slander cast this week. Like, Tom Cruise is insane.
Jeff Goldblum race. No, I just think they're both like a little weirdos. He's a fucking little weirdo, Mini-Me. You don't have your box out here for the movie. What the hell?
Oh, we gotta start over.
No. It looks like a box with a movie in it. Just picture it in your mind.
Not the greatest cover.
Yeah, it's pretty generic. Yeah. But, yeah. Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Bye.